Hello guys, welcome back to Vaishya's YouTube channel, and this is Pooja Sharma. So I'm back with our biosphere reserves. So today we will be reading about the next two biosphere reserves. So before we begin with the video, as you all know, this is the WhatsApp detail of Vaishya's. You can contact on this number for your enrollment details or for any UPSC related queries. You can even email us and visit our YouTube channel. There are a lot of mini series going on which will help you for your prelims, and it will be like a revision for you. So let's start. So first we have the Gulf of Mannar Biosphere Reserve. The Gulf of Mannar Biosphere Reserve, it is a large shallow bay which is forming part of the Lakshadweep or the Lakshadweep Sea in the Indian Ocean, and it has an average depth of 19 feet. And it lies between the west coast of Sri Lanka and the southern east tip of India. So see, this is Sri Lanka over here, and this is our India's southern east tip. So it lies here in between Sri Lanka and the southern eastern tip of India in the Coromandel coast region. Okay. So the chain of the low islands and the reefs, which are known as the Adams Bridge or the aka Ram Setu Bridge, so these will include the Mannar Island, and this Mannar Island, it separates the Gulf of Mannar from the Palk Bay, which lies in the north between Sri Lanka and India. So Palk Bay is over here, if you can see the name is written over here. And then we have the Malvattu Oya, which is the Malvattu river of Sri Lanka, and the estuaries of the Tambira Barani river and the Vaipar river of South India drain into the Gulf. So these two rivers will drain into this Gulf along with the Sri Lankan river, which is the Malvattu river. So the dugong or the sea cow, it is found over here. Then we have the marine sanctuary. So located on the southern eastern tip of the subcontinent, this Gulf of Mannar, it is known to harbor over 3,600 species of flora and fauna. So it is one of the richest coastal regions in Asia with a very high marine diversity, and also it has 117 hard coral species which have been recorded over here. And we can see that sea turtles are frequent visitors to the Gulf, and also we see the presence of sharks, dolphins and dugongs. So you can see, as you all know, these are turtles. We have the shark over here, we have dolphin over here, and this is the dugong, which is very unique animal in this region. And there are totally 47 villages. So because of these combined effects of all these 47 villages, which has a population of about 50,000, so what they do is, how overgrazing happens in grasslands because of the animals, like here over here over harvesting takes place of the marine species, too much collection of all these marine species, fishes and all that. So the decline of fish population, it has been accompanied by reducing numbers of pearl oysters, gorgonian corals and acorn worms. So what happens is, we all know that pearls, how precious and how expensive they are. So there is a decline in all this, and even fishes, in bulk and mass quantity, they collect fishes in those nets. If you would have seen, how fishermen, they throw these huge nets which have weights stuck on them. So when they throw it in the water, the weights will pull the net inside the water, and then all the fishes will get trapped in that net. So then local fishermen, they mainly rely on the reef to feed their families, because how agriculture in the terrestrial areas is a means of livelihood, like that near the coastal areas, whatever source they get from the sea or the ocean, that becomes their livelihood. So that's why fishing and all of this will be very, very common in these regions. But destructive fishing methods combined with the stress of pollution and coral mining, they have meant a lot of near shore and offshore caches which have been decreased. So also endangered species which include the dolphins, dugongs, whales. So see, this is the whales, then we have the sea cucumbers over here, and here I forgot to point out, these are the oysters, then this is the Gorgonian coral over here, and this is the acorn worms which are found on the sand. So in 1986 there were a group of 21 islets or islets lying off the Tamil Nadu coast between the Thuthukudi and the Dhanushkodi, and this was declared the Gulf of Mannar Marine National Park. Also the park and its 10-kilometer buffer zone, it was also declared as the bioreserve in the year 1989. Then the Gulf of Mannar Biosphere Reserve, it covers an area of 10,500 square meters, 10,000 kilometer square and of the ocean, and there are 21 islands and the adjoining coastline. So the islets and the coastal buffer zone, it includes the beaches, estuaries and the tropical dry broadleaf forest, while the marine environments, they'll include seaweed communities, seagrass communities, coral reefs, salt marshes and the mangrove forest. So this is the type of vegetation which they are trying to point out. So in May 2019, the National Center for Coastal Research, which is an institute under the Ministry of Earth Sciences in India, it has filed a research, it has a field research center in the Gulf of Mannar region, and they have found this alarming pattern of the bleaching in the reefs in the Mandapam, Killakarai and the Palk Bay. So these researchers, they have observed a pattern of bleaching in the corals when the temperature rose to 32 degrees Celsius and 36 degrees Celsius. What happens is, certain species of fishes and marine life, they have this specific temperature range which they need in order to survive and have that healthy ecosystem. So when there's an imbalance in the temperatures, this is what happens, the process of bleaching. So the Gulf of Mannar, it is known for its pearl banks of the Pintada radiata and the Pintada fucata for at least 2000 years, and Pliny the Elder praised the pearl fishery of the Gulf as one of the most productive in the world. So although extraction of natural pearls is very considered to be very expensive in most parts of the world, it is still carried out in the Gulf. So the chief sea sports of the Gulf of Mannar are Colombo in Sri Lanka and the Thuthukudi, Tuticorin in Tamil Nadu. The chief seaports. So while these ports can accommodate deep draft vessels, the shallow part of the Palk Strait, it can accommodate only small shallow draft vessels. So this is nothing but the vessels mean ships, small boats. So in July 2005, the Indian government, they took preliminary steps to go ahead with the Setu Samudram shipping canal project. So this would create a deep channel linking the Gulf of Mannar to the Bay of Bengal, but many environmentalists have said that it can have severe impacts on the marine species. So this project, it boosters to emphasize the benefits of direct shipping route that will connect India's east and west coasts without having to go the long trip around Sri Lanka. So as I said earlier, environmentalists have warned against the grave damage such project can cause to the sea life and the fisheries of the Palk Strait and the Gulf. So then we have the Agastya Malai Biosphere Reserve. So Agastya Malai also and Agastya Mala also. So this Biosphere Reserve, it was established in India in 2001, and it is located in the southernmost end of the Western Ghats, and it also includes 3,500.36 kilometer square, of which 1,828 kilometer square is in Kerala, and the rest is in Tamil Nadu, which is 1672.36. Okay, so one point over here is you may get confused that it is present in the Western Ghats, but read the statement again. It says that it is located in the southmost end of the Western Ghats. So imagine if Western Ghats is getting over here, and then this biosphere reserve starts. Okay, so don't get confused. So it encompasses the wildlife sanctuaries of the Shendorni Wildlife Sanctuary. Then we have the Peppara Wildlife Sanctuary, Nayyar Wildlife Sanctuary, Kallakkad, Mundathurai Tiger Reserve. So the Agastyamalai Biosphere Reserve, it became part of the world network of biosphere reserves in 2016. And this ABR, it straddles, that means it runs across the borders of Pattanamthitta, Kollam, and then the Thiruvananthapuram districts in Kerala, and also Tirunelveli and Kanyakumari district in Tamil Nadu, which is South India, in the southern end of the Western Ghats. See, they are again mentioning this point, southern end of the Western Ghats. So in Kerala it is these three places, 3 districts, and in Tamil Nadu it is 2. So just try remembering the places, the names. So this is the latitudes between which this biosphere reserve falls, and it is composed of the, as we read earlier, the Nayyar, Peppara, Shendorni wildlife sanctuaries, and the adjoining areas of the Achenkoil, Tenmala, Konni, Punnalur and Thiruvananthapuram districts, and the Agastyavanam special division in Kerala. So this Vanam means forest. So inclusion of the adjoining areas of the Kallakkad Mundathurai Tiger Reserve in Tamil Nadu, it has been approved and it has got converted into a tiger reserve. So the reserve now covers parts of the Tirunelveli and the Kanyakumari districts in Tamil Nadu, and then the same point, but yeah, this same point. In the first point also they are telling us about the regions in both Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So you can see over here Kollam, then we have Thiruvananthapuram over here, Kanyakumari over, and Tirunelveli. So you can see it is in between. That is how it is present in both Kerala and Tamil Nadu, because it is inner around the borders. So ABR includes the Indian ecoregions of tropical wet green forests, southwestern Ghats moist deciduous forests, southwestern Ghats montane rainforest, and the sholas, because the extension of the western Ghats will be there up to a limit. So it has a habitat for 2000 varieties of various medicinal plants, of which 50 of them are rare and endangered species. Also the animals which are present over here are the Nilgiri tahr, Asian elephant, then we have the Bengal tiger, and then this Agastyamalai is also a home to the Kannikaran, which is one of the oldest surviving ancient tribes in the world. So this is an old picture of a tribesman, and this is, I think, almost a recent one, or we would call it, So ecotourism is very popular in this area, and Kannikarans are the original tribal settlers in the Agastyamalai Biosphere Reserve. So they are this much older, and they are known as the original tribal settlers. So a local committee and a state level biosphere management committee, they coordinate the activities of the various departments in the Agastyamalai Biosphere area, and they ensure that the scientific management of the ABR according to the guidelines of the Indian Ministry of Environment and Forests. So I think that's all. We are done with so I'll be back with the next biosphere reserves. Till then, make sure that you're liking our videos and then sharing them with everyone, whoever is preparing for UPSC and government exams. And also make sure that you comment in our comment section below, and also subscribe to our channel, so that in the upcoming days all the videos which we upload, you will have access to them. And also the mini series which are going on now parallelly, they are very important for your prelims perspective. So make sure that you watch them. They are short videos only, so it won't take too much of your time. So these are the details of Vaishya. You can, as I said earlier, you can contact on this number. You can even email us and visit our YouTube channel. So until next time, all the best and thank you so much.